Hey, what's going on, everybody? All right, I think we're pretty much good to go. Darren, what's going on, man?
Man, it's been a long time.
Dude, it has. Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
almost like 2 years to the day.
Give you guys some context. So Darren's a very interesting story because originally I met Darren as with Forex League with the program that me and Nick had for trading, and Darren was one of our students. And then he I'll let him tell the story, but he went through a lot to kind of get to where he is now, and he's having a lot of success. I mean, this is no way about in any way about Forex League or about us. Like this is just solely about him because he's got a very unique story, and it's just like incredible kind of to see. But I've been chatting with him for a while now and kind of keeping tabs on how he's been doing, but we haven't spoke, man, and I don't even know how long.
Yeah, Angelo talked me off the ledge a couple years ago where I was about 6 months in and kind of hit a brick wall. And I was like, is it time to quit or is it time to go? And he gave me a little bit of direction and kept me in the game long enough to find success.
Yeah, I remember like specifically kind of where we had the conversation. I remember I was at my old apartment. I was like by the pool, and I remember you're just like, listen, man, like this isn't for me. You know, psychologically, I'm not there. You were all in on the idea that you had to be like 24/7 trading charts, this and that. And I kind of just told you, I'm like, dude, you gotta step back, take time off, like gotta kind of digress from all this pressure you're putting on yourself and get a plan, get a strategy, and start sticking to it and start, cleaning yourself up mentally and like taking care of yourself. And I mean, I'm curious, just like how the hell did you kind of turn it all around? Like I know
Yeah.
the people want to know as well. Like tell me,
Yeah.
because now, I mean, what you're funded with us, you're on FTMO, like you're getting payouts, like you're pretty much killing it now.
Yeah, I feel like I've arrived, and now it's just time to do what I'm supposed to do inside the building. So I started Forex September 2020. I'd gotten into trading. Me and my wife had been like buying, hold, investing for a while, and during the pandemic, she had started trading stock options, and I got into stocks, and I was trading like penny stocks and stuff. And I was doing good for a while, but after the summer ended and the market started to change, I started to notice that like, hey, maybe this isn't for me. There's some things I wasn't really keen on, like the pattern day trader rule, stop losses and take profits not being observed outside of like the actual market hours, 9:30 to 4. Um, so I started looking around, just trying to see, what other things were there to trade other than crypto. And I came across Forex, and it looked kind of, not sure if I wanted to do that. I'd heard good stuff, I'd heard bad stuff. So I decided to really dig in for myself, and I started watching videos on YouTube. I was on baby pibs, and I was just trying to figure out whatever I can. The first 6 months when I started, I opened a live account with Oanda, and I put 5,000 US dollars in it, and I started trading live from nothing pretty much. Over those first 6 months, from that September to February, when Angelo was basically like, "Chill out, you're good." I've lost about 20% of the account. So I mean, $1,000 out of 5,000 isn't bad. And I was looking at it like it was the end of the world. And Angelo's like, "That's all you've lost. You've been trading live for 6 months." He's like, "You're good. Like, take a break and reevaluate what you're doing." And study the psychology portion of it, because by that point my chart work was pretty good, as far as just analyzing the market. But the mental piece of it is, I feel like it's more than 90%. Everybody says the mental piece is a lot of it, but I feel like it's like all of it. Because if you don't have the mindset, like anything else that you do can be quickly negated, like instantly. I mean, you can give a lot of good work back in a short period of time.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like I really say like this, like you can very easily go on YouTube right now. You can learn TA, you can learn a bit about fundamentals. There's a lot of free courses out there. Go on Udemy, buy from your favorite influencer, do whatever you want to do. The reality is you can learn TA, you can learn a strategy pretty quickly, a couple months, and then do some testing, start to do some back testing. And then the whole it doesn't start until you start trading live or you start buying a challenge, right? You start getting invested in it financially. Nothing matters really until that point. And then all that matters once you reach that point is how you manage your psyche and how you manage your trade, being in a trade, sticking to your plan, everything like that. And I mean, you're kind of hinting at that it's like some people are like, oh, it's 80% psychology, whatever. Like, I don't know, whatever it is, it's a lot. It's really mostly psychological.
Yeah.
I mean, even the position I'm in, I used to obviously day trade, and I used to trade like the prop firms and all that. And like even being in the position I'm in now, I'm quite busy with the companies and stuff. And I don't have the ability to trade because I don't have the mental capacity or the bandwidth to be focused on it. And it really takes all of you to be able to really take advantage of it. Like you gotta prioritize it. Like you gotta put in the time. You gotta be mentally available to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. One of the things that I've noticed is like you kind of have like a trading battery. And once that thing's depleted, like you got to take time to recharge it. Like you can't keep running it down on E until there's nothing left, because that's when, all the bad stuff starts happening.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, I don't know if any of you guys listen to like Joe Rogan or whatever. I'm sure some of you guys do. Some of you guys probably hate him. But like, even he says like when someone in his position, like he's obsessed with working, working on the comedy, working on the podcast, working on everything. And it's very similar to myself is I'm obsessed with working on TFT, working on all my business, like working on everything, working in the community. You're obsessed with trading, right? You love trading,
Right.
you're obsessed with it in every way. When you are obsessed with something, you can't work 24/7. You can't obsess over it 24/7. Like you need to take a break. Like you need to go watch that TV show. You need to go like walk in that field. You need to go like disconnect for a while, whatever you need to do to decompress. That is equally as important to the work that you are doing. Like that cleansing of the mind, that clearing the mind is equally as important to those hours that you're putting in grinding on the charts. And some people unfortunately don't learn this for a while and they consistently just burn out. And that's not the way that you should be going about this, at least in my opinion.
No, you can't. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. So you were kind of seeing that. Like I noticed with you.
Yeah.
You were
So
kind of
when I
like,
came,
yeah, go ahead.
I was like, when I came in the Forex, I was like, the market's open 24 hours and there's all these pairs I can trade all the time and make money all the time. And then, you find out really quickly that that's not the case. I had a watch list with like all 27 of the major crosses and stuff like that. And it was like, okay, like it's too much going on here. You really got to start to narrow down, your focus, because you can't be all over the place, especially when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's like a lot of like when I was really more focused on the Forex League side of things, and I was talking with a lot of traders every day. A lot of the questions they were asking was like around how often to be on the charts, like how to back test, what pairs to trade, this and that. And like so many people were just trying to trade like so many pairs. And like I'd always just be like, what I noticed is when you're trading a few pairs, you're getting better results. Like when you're focused on two major pairs and maybe an index or whatever.
Right.
You're just going to have better results. You're more focused. Like when you're trying to fucking break down 27 charts and then make decisions on 27 different pairs, like your win rate's just going to be low.
Yeah, and a quarter of them are correlated. By the time you start messing around, you don't even realize it,
Yeah, that's like a whole other thing.
Yeah. So what you thought was 1% risk is really half your account, because you don't even realize that gold and AU and oil and UCAD and stuff like that are, they're heavily correlated, not 100%, but they weigh on each other.
Yeah. I mean, getting into actually, trading a bit, because obviously psychology is kind of a big thing. What is so the people know a little bit more about your story, where you reside, what's kind of your career, like what's your background a little bit?
Okay. So I'm 36. I'm from Maryland in the United States, for the people that don't know, of course. Straight out of high school, I started working in retail, like big box retail. And I went to college at the same time. And while I was working retail, I just kept kind of getting promoted, like a little bit more money here, a little bit money here. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I kind of got trapped. And I didn't realize it until a lot later, of course. So fast forward, I've got about 16 years of retail experience, big box retail. The last 10 years of it was in retail management. And I didn't really see clearly that I was trapped until my son was born in 2019. And I had a hard time getting off work, just for when he was born. Um, Taking time off after, like for paternity leave. They gave me a lot of hard time with HR and stuff. And then even when I went back after, I was granted all that stuff, it wasn't what it should be. Like I was working tons of nights and weekends. I was getting calls when I didn't want calls. So I kind of got fed up and I decided I was going to go back to college because I dropped out after I gotten, promotions after promotions. Oh, I don't need to go to college. I'm making too much money here. Um, so I went back to school with the intention of going for mechanical engineering. I enrolled right before COVID hit. And after I enrolled in college, like online, full online, accelerated, I decided that I was going to change careers to kind of, fix that work-life balance issue. So when I did that, I went into insurance. I ended up getting my insurance license with the state of Maryland, and I'm currently still an insurance agent. I work full time doing that, 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday, which was a lot better than the nights and weekends. But right now, I'm just trying to figure out, how can I take this to the next level where I can be more self-sustainable and even get out of that. But that's provided the stability that I need right now to, trade the way I want to, and still function outside of work and outside of trading and, keep the bills paid type of deal where if I blow an account or if I lose a lot of money on any given day, it's not going to change my life, like there's still that safety net. I mean, obviously I want to get away from that, but that's really where I am now. It's just working 8 to 4:30 every day Eastern time during New York session. And I'm trading mostly New York, but I trade Asia too. Sometimes I'll swing something from Asia to London. If I wake up and I see something set up in London, I might take it, I might not. But just finding that balance and whatnot. But yeah, I ended up finishing school back in May of last year. I graduated summa cum laude. That was one of the things that I had really set out to do was when I went to college before, and like a lot of things that I'd done in my adult life, it was kind of like, okay, I've started this, I've half done that. I started this and I quit, and I was like, this is something that I can do and I will do. And I'm going to knock it out for my wife, for my son, for my family, for my future, like for everything. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And if I can do this and graduate summa cum laude with a 3.96 GPA, which I did, I can do anything. And I kind of brought that same mentality over to trading. And that's kind of what's kept me here is, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. There's going to be some hard days. There's going to be some days you want to quit. There's going to be some days you want to cry. But I just realized this week that there's days when you need to celebrate as well. And I kind of have been delaying, like the celebration and the accomplishment portion of it. It's just like keep my head down and grind. And I realized I was like I'm being too hard on myself. I got to take a step back, and really bask in the glory for once, just be grateful.
Oh, dude, yeah.
A lot of people don't make it,
I think a big thing that I learned was while you're trying to grind and while you're trying to kind of make it, you never feel as though you're doing enough in a way. Like maybe you made some money, but it's not enough to like really change your situation like fundamentally. And you're just kind of consistently putting the pressure on yourself to keep going pedal to the metal. But I think that, or one thing that I've learned is just like I'm not saying you need to go out and like blow $1,000, but you need to definitely, like you said, celebrate kind of the smaller wins as you're going, because if not, I mean, what's really the point of all of this if you're just so focused on the money and so focused on, the material aspect of it? Like you really got to figure out how to enjoy the journey.
Right.
You're going to burn out so easily if you only focus on money.
Yeah. Like every now and then you got to take a step back and look at like, okay, this is what the peak of the mountain looks like. Just kind of imagine like, hey, I'm at the pinnacle. This is where it's at. But you got to come back to where you are and take the steps and enjoy the process too, because there's things to be learned that'll keep you at the pinnacle once you get there. Like anybody can get there, but the hard part is staying there.
Dude, I mean, I think the reality is like when it comes to trading, you could be at the pinnacle one day and you could be at the bottom the next day. So how do you kind of manage the psychology of that? Like one day your funded account's up 30K, the next day it's down 20K, whatever. Like how do you how do you go about like just continuing to bounce back and just in the face of adversity, you know, just staying positive?
Yeah, my numbers aren't that big yet, but I'm sure they will be soon. And the biggest thing that really changed my perspective of the game was starting to work in percentages. I wish I'd done it a lot sooner than I did and stopped focusing on the dollars. There's a point last summer, or maybe it was the summer before. It's been a while now. I've been trading funded accounts so long, and I've really built my strategy around the funded rules as far as like drawdown and whatnot. And as I progressed, there was times where I was like, oh, well, I need to get a 100K account because the bigger account, I got a bigger margin for error, or I need to get a 200K account because, I got 20K that I can, I can kind of mess around and then I'll figure it out before I blow it. And it really doesn't work that way. You got to start small. So one of the best things about the Forex League membership was that you guys offered the 10K challenge every month for $5 or whatever. So I would do the 10K challenge, and I never got funded off of it until recently because I never took it as seriously as I should. But I think it was sometime probably last April or May when I realized that I could export my MetaTrader data, and I went back and started analyzing things. I started looking at it. I was like, percentages are everything. I was like, if I can manage this 10K account, I can manage a 100K account. If I can manage this 100K account, and I mean, over time, of course, with growth, I can average a 200K account, or eventually I'm going to manage $500,000 or $1,000,000. And just realizing that, hey, if I keep this stuff into percentages, if I lose 0.5% or I lose 0.25% on a trade, I know I can come back and get it. Like, it's guaranteed. It's going to happen eventually. And more than likely, it's going to happen before I blow the account out. I'm not going to blow the account out too quick. So working in percentages has helped me because as I progressed, and like I said, I backed it all the way down to 10K, and I was doing 10K and 50K challenges. I ended up funded with 50K last January. Actually, it was December 21. I got the account. I blew it in 2 weeks. My first funded account, blew it in 2 weeks. And it was just doing, I don't want to say stupid stuff because, like, you got to be careful about the things you say about yourself and your self-talk, but I was pretty reckless. So that experience was necessary for me to realize that, hey, this isn't a game. Like, if you want to be a professional trader, you got to act like a professional trader. Like, you get in the drawdown, you can't double down on your losses. You can't add to the losing position. Like, sometimes you just got to get out and reevaluate. And as I started doing this portion with the percentages and I started journaling and recognizing, the things that triggered me, I was able to put together a pretty solid trading plan and just keep working on it. And I get on the Forex League calls every week. Like, I'll probably get on there when we get off of here. And I just talk to everybody, and I'm constantly taking stuff from anybody's strategy I can talk to. If I like it, I'm stealing. I call it R&D, and like everybody thinks R&D is research and development. I call it rip off and duplicate. Because if you got a good idea, I'm taking from what you're doing, and I'm gonna come back and talk to you about it and get information. I mean, because that's what the community's for, And a lot of people don't take advantage of that, and a lot of times we come into it with a closed mind, and we don't really absorb what can be absorbed, and we're out here all bullheaded. Oh, my strategy is king, and your moving averages are stupid and stuff like that. You really got to be open to a lot of things. But coming back to what I was supposed to be talking about, working in percentages changed it for me because, like I said, when I got to the bigger accounts, so like now I'm trading. I just got funded today. I finished my phase 2 of my FTMO 200K. So hopefully that'll be funded next week. And trading that account was a challenge for me, going from where I've been working the last probably 3 to 4 months on 100K accounts, just managing the money. Because when I started that challenge, I'd done 2 free trials before. And I said, while I take this challenge, I said the max loss I'm going to take on a position is 1%. And on the 100K, I'd work my way up to the point where I could handle $1,000 loss on the 100K account and come back and operate within my parameters. But when I got to the 200K, it was different. The trade got to $1,000, and I'm like, oh shoot, like maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe I shouldn't be holding on to this. And I had to stop and say, hey, this is 0.5%. Your strategy is good to replace 1% within 2 trades. If you're trading 1 to 2 like you should be, you're only down 0.5%. Let the trade run. I mean, if something crazy happens, there's news or something coming, like, yeah, get out of it or whatever. Or if you're really that bad off mentally that you can't hold on to the trade anymore, protect your mental capital, but just do what you've always done and you'll be fine. And I would just think back to when I was trading a 10K account and I was down $100 on or $50 and it was 0.5%. I'm like, okay, $50 0.5%, 500 or $1,000 0.5%. Like that's a big difference. But if you're executing the process and you're faithful over a few, you'll be ruler over many. And that's what's keeping me or helping me stay grounded. I mean, I still have moments. I'm sure we all do. And I don't think it's ever going to completely go away. I always tell the guys on the Forex League calls, like, it's like once you go off from account, it's like, okay, the 10K account's like level 1 and you're playing. I mean, I'm going to age myself a little bit, but you're playing Sonic or you're playing Super Mario and you're on level 1. And then on the 10K, and then you get to the 50K, and now you're on level 2. But there's a level 2 boss, and you got to beat them. And then you get to level 3 on the 100K, and then there's a level 3 boss. It's just bigger challenges. Same process, same moves, same buttons, same pairs, instruments, risk percentages. Everything's the same, but the mental piece just keeps climbing and building, and to a climax almost, where you're constantly doing more and trying to get better, but you're still executing the same process. Because the charts don't change when you go from 100K to 200K or from 10K to 100K. And the pairs don't change. They all move the same way, but your emotions are going to be triggered differently. And that's the thing that we got to understand as we scale up.
I mean, dude, you said it perfectly. Like, we've always been ones to preach about the percentage, risking a percent per trade, and having your plan be based around percentages. And I know people are always like, how many pips did you get? How many pips, this and that? Like all people buying signals and stuff. Like the pip count literally means nothing. Like it means nothing. It is so useless that it actually hurts to see people talk about it. Like
it does. It does.
like
yeah,
it's
so
all...
one of the things that really helped me, in addition to all those other things, was when I stopped trying to catch 100 pips on a move, or I stopped trying to catch 200 pips or 300 pips. And I mean, I see a few people in the audience that know me, but the people that don't know me, I trade intraday, or I call myself a session trader, but everybody says I'm a scalper because of like my level of aggressiveness. And what I've done recently is I've started noticing better with my moves, like realistic targets. So I play the fibs a lot, and when I'm taking a move, a lot of times I'm not taking it all the way from 61% on the fibs and negative 27. I may catch the leg from 61 back to 0 and then reevaluate. And if it retraces to 38, then I'll take it, beyond. So tweaking your strategy and seeing what works and helps you preserve your mental capital is just paramount. Like, you got to be able to understand yourself, because I realized, like, hey, if I take it from 61 up to 0 and I'm up, let's just say, I'm up 50 pips, just to say a number, and then it retraces half of that and it comes back to 38.2, and now I'm only up 25 pips. Am I going to feel some type of way and close the trade before it continues? Or as it's retracing against me, like, am I going to rush and get out for no reason? So I've set up checkpoints as far as like within my trades, where if it gets to a certain point, I'm peeling off half and I'm reevaluating. And if it pulls back a certain amount, I might add to it. But if it continues, it kind of is what it is. And this is helping me preserve my mental capital, because I'm not adding to positions at the wrong times like I was at certain points. So it makes it a little bit easier to manage. But it doesn't work for everybody, because there's guys that I talk to on a daily basis and they're like, why are you getting out? I was like, I'm peeling something off to lock it up, because if it comes back to break even, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, I got to protect myself. And I understand that about myself, because if it comes back to 0 or back to break even and I'm out with nothing, I might do something irrational on the next trade. But if I got half, I'm good.
Listen, like you said about going back to the percentages, like on a 10K account, what is 0.5%? 1% on a 10K account is $100. So $0.5% is $50, right?
$50.
So
right.
On a 100K account, what is it? It's 10 times. So it's $500. And then, I mean, think about a 600K account. I believe 0.5% is 10% is 60K. 1% is 6K.
6K.
3K. So it's like 3K for 0.5%. That, dude, 3K is a lot. Like you're doing 3K, 0.5% per trade. You hit a fucking 2 to 1. You make 6K on one trade. You know what I'm saying? Like the numbers become pretty crazy. You
numbers are crazy.
Take 10 trades. You hit 50% of the trades. All of a sudden, you're up fucking 9 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've noticed that the way I'm trading is almost becoming a problem as I scale up in account size because the fluctuations are too great. Like I might be up. Like when I trade the 100K, and I mean, I'm sure there's guys out there that are trading much larger than I am. But for where I am 2.5 years into my journey, I feel good, with where I'm at. But I might be up 2.5% on my 100K, and then I lose 2%. I just gave back $2,000. Like the other day, I was on my 100K Royal Live, and I was up 3,200. All I had to do was wait till Monday just to withdraw it, and I ended up going in the drawdown that day. And it's like I had to stop, and I was like, "Whoa! Like this is real money that I'm playing with. I gotta be smart about what I'm doing." And that was when I realized, like, hey, I need to like actually, take some credit for what I'm doing. Like I'm doing some good things here. Like I got a TFT interview yesterday. I'm on with you now. I passed my 200K FTMO. It's like, how much is enough, dude? Like back off for a little bit. Like you got six. You passed 6 phases in November. Did I lose you?
Yeah. No, you're in. You're like
my computer went to sleep. I was like, uh-oh.
No, I thought the same thing happened to me. I thought I'd opt out.
Yeah. But I'm like, I passed 6 phases in November. I did like 47% that month. Like that's not sustainable. Like don't push it too hard, dude. Like you don't have to go wide open all the time.
Bro, at the same time though, it's kind of like that book. I think it's like Trading Market Wizards or something. I forgot what it's called, but it's about all those big titans and they trade tons of capital and they're taking low percent trades, but they make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right. At the end of the day, all that matters, literally all that matters is that you're sticking to your plan. That's it. If you're sticking to your plan and you make 46% that month, there's no ego when you're sticking to the plan. There's no, you did extra, you did this, you did that. Like you just stuck to the plan. And then you come back the next month, right? The plan's the same. Maybe you tweak it a little bit, whatever. You shouldn't have a big month. All of a sudden you change the plan, up the risk, whatever. It's same. Should be the same plan. You come in and maybe that month you make minus 3%, right? So the thing that's going on is basically, and the thing that's even challenging for us as a company is like, we see so many people who month one on the funded account, they make 10%, they make 20%. And it's like, all right, cool. Like, let's trade with this guy. This guy looks like he knows what he's doing. Like he's managing his orders well. He's using stop losses, like the whole shebang. Let's start to put some money behind this guy. Let's get it going. Let's make some money. Then this guy month two comes in all of a sudden. He was trading gold last month. Now he's trading UJ. Now he's trading double the size. Now he's trading at hours he wasn't trading before. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, you gotta stay true to what got you to where you are. And I was talking to somebody last week, and I was like where you are right now isn't time to be changing up the strategy. Like you start a new phase, you start a funded account. Like, don't be trying out new stuff now. Don't be adding indicators and new trading hours and position sizes now. Like this isn't the time. I mean,
look at it like this. Like you can, like I think I don't think trading is clearly a business, right? You're trading. You should have a business entity. You're conducting things like as if you're a business. You have a plan. You have a risk management plan. The whole shebang, right? Now look at TFT, right? I got people all the time coming to me, and they're like, even team members are like, oh, try this strategy for marketing. Try this. Try that. Switch this up. Stop doing this. And I'm like, what we're doing works. And if trading, what you're doing works, don't switch it up. Don't ruin a good thing just because you have this like cool, crazy idea on the side. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try new things. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try a new setup. Doesn't mean TFT shouldn't try a new email. Doesn't mean TFT shouldn't try to put a new trader on. Like, doesn't mean we shouldn't try a new challenge, right? But don't get away from your bread and butter. And if you're a trader right now and you don't even know what your bread and butter is, you don't know what your main setup is, your main strategy is, you should never even take a challenge like until you know what that is.
Yeah. And that comes back to like something it should come way before funding or evaluation or anything. Is like, if you don't have a trading plan, like when you hit that losing streak or that period of losses and setbacks, like Jeremy was asking about in the chat, like if you don't have a trading plan, you have nothing to go back to. And that's when like the strategy hopping starts and like the real downward spiral begins, because you almost like grasping for straws. Like I need something to get me out of this, and you don't have anything because you didn't put anything together before you got to where you were going.
Yeah. I mean, bro, look at it like this. Like anyone that, if you genuinely want to know like how to become better at trading and business and everything, like Darren saying, you need a plan, like write it out, put it on paper. Forex League, there's a whole trading plan. There's a whole fucking 20 plus page trading plan in there. And the reason it's there is because when you have those bad days, that plan was mine. That's what me and Nick used, right, to trade with.
Right.
If you have those bad days, the plan is there. You go back, you read it, you go over the risk management strategy, you go over the setups, go over how you should be managing the trades. That's the Bible. Like that's what you stick to. And if anything, you make small adjustments to it over time. But that's the bread and butter. And if you don't have if you don't have a trading plan, you don't have a method to do back testing, whatever. Like I don't want to like get like cocky here, but like listen, if somebody told me tomorrow that I had to get a payout on FTMO, not of some size, but just one payout on FTMO in the next 3 months, I will find a way to get a payout on FTMO. Like if I'll just back test, I'll have a strategy, I'll stick to the strategy and I won't waver and I'll tweak the strategy until it works. Right. Like it's really not rocket science. It's just we psychologically fuck ourselves up. That's what it is.
We do. You're battling yourself. And what I tell everybody that I talk to, and I'm like a car guy. I don't have anything like fancy or anything right now, but I'm going to soon. And I like race cars. So like I go to like NASCAR events and I want to get to some Formula One, that type of stuff. Car shows and whatnot. And I tell everybody that your trading plan is your race car. And like if you look at these race events, like these guys, they work on these cars all week long. And for us, it's reverse. We work all weekend long on race cars. So we work on our strategy. We work on our back test, and we might add something to the back test, and we might remove something. If you're working on a race car, you might change out the shocks. You might put new tires on it. You might put new exhaust. Like you're constantly tweaking, trying to get squeeze every little bit out that you can. And then there's race day. For us, it's race week, and we go to race all week. And then we come back and we evaluate what we did. We repair the damages. We work on the car and we get it dialed in. And that's what your trading strategy is. Like if your trading strategy isn't getting better every week, and if your chart appearance isn't changing every 3 to 6 months because you're evolving and constantly getting better, you're not doing anything.
Yeah. So
this is the way I look at it.
Tell the people tell the people a bit about your approach to the challenges, because you obviously last month you said you made 46%, you had a lot of success passing challenges, right? Like what's kind of your approach and why have you been able to have success with them?
Yeah, so November was the month that I did that, and I was pretty aggressive, more aggressive than I would ever be on a live account. But it goes back to last summer when I was saying I had started like analyzing MetaTrader data, because I feel like everybody should be doing some type of journaling. It doesn't have to be like completely formal. Like right now I got a legal pad and I just write down my thoughts over the course of the day, the week, and I put it in the computer at the weekend, and so I can, see what's going on with me mentally. But when I went back, I started exporting the MetaTrader data. That was when I started correlating my thoughts and feelings with my results. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever done it, and if you haven't, I recommend you go try it at least once. You pull up MetaTrader desktop, you go down to the bottom to history, you right click and you export, and it's going to send all your trade data from that challenge or that evaluation or whatever it is to Excel. I put it in. When you get it out, I go in and look at the last page and it says like balance chart or something, and I just look at the numbers. And I was kind of like reverse engineering my strategy because, like I said, I went to school for mechanical engineering, so I'm like mentally, I feel like I'm a problem solver, even though that's not what I finished for. I switched to business admin. But when I started analyzing that data, I went in and I looked at it and I was like, okay. And one of the big things I look at too is there's a page, I don't know if it's deals or orders or something, where basically you can see the size of your wins and losses, and then you can see your account balance next to it. And I was noticing as I was trading, when I would go into drawdown, I'd behave differently than when I went into deep profit. And I would notice that my losing streaks would cost me X amount of dollars. That's one of the main things on your data page is it'll say consecutive losses. And I looked at it and I was like, okay. And I did this on past challenges, failed challenges, all of them. I probably got like 6 or 7 of them I need to go back and do right now. But I'm looking at that data because if I have a losing streak on any challenge, and this is why it goes back to percentages too. If I have a losing streak of 10 trades and those 10 trades cost me 12%, that's no good. I got to change something. Because if I have a 10 trade losing streak at any point, the challenge is gone. The account's dead. It's done and dusted. Like there's nothing I can do. So that would tell me I can't risk 1% per trade. I need to risk 0.25% per trade. And that was kind of what helped me, was realizing, okay, my losing streaks are costing me too much money. So let me make my losing streaks less expensive. So now I have a 10 trade losing streak. I'm risking 0.25%. I'm only down 2.5% after 10 trade losing streak. I can handle that. I can come back from that. And that's when you really have to dig in and understand how much damage are you doing when you're doing damage.
Listen, like these are all nuggets that anyone on here who's struggling, taking challenges, that wants to get better, have a better approach, like you really got to hear it from this guy, because like I said, you really came a long way from where you were at, and at the point in which you are now, you're certainly where a lot of people really want to be with all of this. So we're gonna go ahead and start doing some questions. So people that are in the AMA right now, go ahead and post in the general chat any questions that you have. Darren, feel free if you have any questions for myself or, anything else that you kind of want to touch on and bring up, feel free to go ahead.
No, I don't have anything for you. And I think everybody should know, like, you are by far the most responsive person. I mean, it might take you a day or two to get back to you, but you send you a question, you're going to get a response. And I got to thank you, because there's been probably 3 times I can think of off the top of my head that I've encountered something, like a unique scenario while I was trading, a challenge or an evaluation. And I was like, hey, is there something we can do about this? So like, for example, I was trading on I think I was trading on my Rapid account, and I was doing the FTMO challenge while I was trading the Rapid account, and FTMO's lot sizes are completely different than TFTs. It's like 1 to 10. So like, if you put one lot on NASDAQ on TFT, one lot on NASDAQ on TFT is 10 lots on FTMO. So I came from FTMO with a 10 lot on my MetaTrader screen, and I placed a trade on my Rapid account, and I damn near blew the thing up like instant. I was like, oh shoot, like this is bad. I closed the trade within 3 seconds. I was like, dude, like, can you put a cap on that so that doesn't happen? Because I can't be the only person this has ever happened to. And you're like, yeah, we'll work on it. And then like 2 weeks later, I messaged you, and you was like, oh yeah, they implemented that last week. So like, if you guys run into stuff, like reasonable things, like you got to be responsible and accept responsibility for your actions on the things that you do. And, but stuff like that you encountered, like that's what makes TFT better than anybody else's, because you got a CEO that you can talk to and say, hey, like, I almost blew my account up trading, I'm trying to grow my funding empire. You need to, I think that's what I actually told you, is I'm trying to grow my funding empire. Like, I need you to protect us as funded traders and not let this happen. Like, that's something you can fix in the system, and you did it. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, I pride myself on being responsive, and at the end of the day, I don't always get back to you, right away, but I do try to, get back to you when I can. And that's one of the reasons we started the company, was because, I mean, one, we knew there was tremendous opportunity, but 2, I traded with FTMO. I traded with my Forex funds. I traded with a lot of these other companies at the time, Trader Central Fund, right? All these companies. And there was no responsiveness. There was no connection to the people that were running it. It was just, you trade with them, you have a problem, go fuck yourself. Like, there was no, here's my suggestion. Right. Here's my suggestion. Can you improve this? No, like, there was no loop where you can get in touch with them and they can improve the product. So I knew that with TFT, we had to do that, and that was key. So anyone that makes suggestions, whether it's in the suggestions channel or, wherever, you're my DM, like, I have a list right now. Like, there's 10 things that I want to do that are suggestions that you guys have made that we're currently working on building. And there's 3 of them that are done, like, already. And we're just going to continue to work on the other ones until the other ones get done. So, anyone that has a suggestion and that hits me up and is respectively, they really have a concern about something, I'm going to definitely try to figure out how we can do it, because I know how everyone feels, like, in the community when it comes to trading the challenges. Like, I'm not just bullshitting. Like, I was trading them just like you guys, and I started off with all these companies, and I very much know what it's like to be in a position of winning challenges, losing challenges, getting fucked over by the company, all this stuff. And that's why I think that we're continuing to be a good, like, a company that everyone wants to work with, but in the future we're going to continue to be. So yeah, I appreciate, the shout out there, man, because obviously, that there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I've got 50 plus people in my DMs right now, hitting me up. And, I just know it's important to hear people out. And at the end of the day, there's not always going to be the decision that everyone's happy with. And sometimes I'm not going to be happy. Sometimes the trader's not going to be happy. And that's just fucking life, man. That's life.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll just come back to it. Like anything that I've mentioned that was reasonable has been implemented. Like no questions. I mean, other than like, hey, what do you mean? If I need to clarify something, like you'll ask me. But I mean, there's stuff that, and I'm sure there's other people that could attest to this as well. Like, I mean, just because you're one thing you requested didn't get answered doesn't mean they're not working on it, they're not trying, or there's not some barrier that's keeping it from coming to reality. Because they're working on it. Trust me.
Yeah, we have to be. I mean, we're passionate about the product. We're passionate about the industry. We didn't I think a lot of these prop firms that are popping up, they're made by people who previously weren't even in trading. It's kind of like the cannabis industry. All of a sudden, cannabis becomes legal. Now all these business people are coming in. They're trying to fucking, chemically produce the best product that's addicting. That's this, that's that. I mean, the prop industry is the same thing. There's a lot of money to be made in the prop industry. Now you've got these outside business people trying to come in, make prop firms. And I think ultimately the ones that, put it this way, the ones in cannabis sake, the ones that are the growers, they have the most experience. They have a combination of kind of business and industry experience. They're going to make the best product. They're going to curate the best product. They're going to give the best consumer experience. Right. And I think TFT is able to deliver that because of the fact that I myself is a trader, Blake's a trader, Carlos not as much like a prop trader, but he's more into options and stuff. So we're all passionate about the industry. We're all very much knowledgeable on what you guys want and stuff. We're listening to you guys. It's obviously what's most important at the end of the day. If we're not listening to you guys, if I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want to do, I mean, that doesn't help anyone.
Yeah. I knew, and I hate to bring this up, but I knew when you came out of the FXC experience that you were on a mission, and that this was going to be the best prop firm. I knew that you knew everything not to do, and you were going to run it like a business the way it's supposed to be. I mean, and I appreciate that because you got drugged to the mud on that, and you really had to redeem yourself, and you've done more than adequate.
I mean, dude, everyone knows that, or not everyone knows, but that situation was so fucked, and I put in so much work to I want to give you guys a kind of moral of a story here with FXC. This is life. FXC, I put in so much fucking work to make that thing run, to make it happen, and at the end of the day, I not only got fucked over, made no money, I also got my whole reputation trashed. And I genuinely, not even bullshitting you guys, I did the right thing. I put in the work. I put the people in place who are supposed to be in place. At the end of the day, I got fucked. And it was just a big lesson in life for me. It's guys, you could do the right thing. You could work really fucking hard, and you could whatever, and you could still get fucked in life. And you guys just got to accept that in business, that's a risk you take. Nothing is guaranteed, and you're not owed anything. And when that happened to me, man, it was just like you said, how can I learn from this entire situation? How can I repair my reputation? How can I make something that is amazing that everyone can be proud of? And it's the same thing with you guys. You take a challenge, you fail, it's the same thing. It's just, how do you bounce back, and how do you learn from your mistakes and just make everything better and just get more focused?
100%.
But listen, I see people in the chats, they're like 8 caps lagging, the server, the spreads, this, the
Oh
execution,
my
this,
God. I
you know,
was cracking up yesterday, and I hope I don't get like killed for this, but like somebody in the chat was like, the spreads are untradeable. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, I laughed so hard. I was
yeah.
like, just
I mean,
trade, dog.
listen, the everyone's feedback is justifiable. Like, listen, I'm not gonna say you don't have a right to your opinion on what's going on, but what I've noticed is when there's issues with the Discord, right? Like say 8 cap, there's an issue, and we announce it in the minor announcements. We're like, listen, guys, like 8 cap just hit us up. The server like they restarted it at this time, yada yada yada. All of a sudden, everyone and their mother comes out of the woodwork. Oh, the spread is this. This is now wrong. This is now wrong. Like when you give people an inch to complain, they run
Oh
a
my
fucking
God.
mile.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I understand this. It's just life. It's psychology. It's human nature. When
Yeah,
people
it's
see, when people see a lane, they're gonna try to take advantage of it. Like I get it. It is what it is. But what I'm trying to get at is granted the spreads are good, execution's good, everything's good. Like,
I mean, I actually
listen,
don't touch a thing as far as I'm concerned, but
I mean, listen, man, like at the end of the day, like I just said, you might trade news one day and get slipped. You might enter a trade in off hours, get more spread. You might this, you might that. At the end of the day, it all that matters is how you respond. You know, if you genuinely think you got fucked, hit up support and we'll try to help you out. But at the end of the day, nothing is going to be perfect. The market's not going to be perfect. The spread's not going to be perfect. The commission's not going to be fucking perfect. You have to start showing up and you have to start holding yourself accountable and you got to start adjusting your plan to be better. That's what it comes down to. You could blame me all
yeah.
fucking day. This is really not going to get you paid.
Yeah. Somebody hit me up about it the other day and was asking me how I felt about it. And I was like, dude, like, I don't even care about the spreads because I know more than likely we're getting actually routed to the market. And if we're actually getting routed to the market, we're not going to be able to compete with spreads and commission of somebody that's doing stuff in house. But nobody thinks that deep into stuff, you know. Like if your brokerage or your prop firm is routing orders to the actual market, and then prop firm B is keeping their orders in house and hedging against you, there's no way that you can compete with their spreads and commissions. It's not possible from a business standpoint. But people don't look at it from a business standpoint. They look at it from their personal perspective because, you know, they don't have a plan or whatever, you know. Like they don't have a way around it. Like you run into an obstacle, like you gotta figure out how to climb over that wall or get around the wall. Like you can't just stand there and look at it and complain about it. It's not gonna move.
Listen, man. I'll say this because you said some good points there. I'll say this: there's companies that are new in the prop trading industry and they're trying to gain traction. They don't have a lot of customers. They're 1/10 the size of TFT. They're 10% the size of us, right? They're not routing trades of the market. They're not putting people on live conditions. They're not checking IP logs. They're not checking for KYC. They're just trying to grow their business, dude. They're a startup. They're not mature enough
be careful
to.
out here, man, because it's really the Wild West, though. It's like crypto at the beginning. I feel like. I mean, there's regulation, of course, but you know, like
What I'm trying to get at though is like these new businesses as they mature, as they hit a maturation process and they start to route trades into the market and they start to incur costs not only with the traders but also with their employees and ACAP and this and that. It's kind of like, listen, you guys got to start getting more serious about your business. Start looking about the spreads, start looking at the commissions, start looking at the promotions, start looking at the traders, start looking at this, start looking at that. Right? Like all we're doing is trying to mature further in our company and take more trades honestly and just be more sustainable in everything that we're doing. And if people don't like it, guess what? I say this all the time. If people don't like it, just leave. I mean, just leave. We're not holding you hostage here to trade by any means. Leave. Go to a company less reputable, you know, and see how it is. And listen, we pull reports. We know FTMO spreads. We know my Forex fund spreads. We know the slippage. We're looking at all this stuff. We see little discrepancies. But people are just gonna complain, man. That's just how it is. It comes with
Yeah,
the nature of being a big Discord, 60,000 people, in here. So it just is what it
yeah,
is.
right. Well, sorry I pulled you off to the side. You want to rip through
No,
these
no,
questions?
you're good, man. I'm here. I'm all here for it. And the people, it gets the people going at the end of the day. And like,
Yeah.
I'm all for discussing it. But listen, we've got a bunch of people in here who have asked a bunch of questions. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do some like rapid fire. I'm just gonna run through a bunch of these people's
Okay.
questions, and we're just gonna have
Yeah, I don't
you.
care because yeah, that's cool because I'm here as long as it takes. It's whatever.
All right. So let's go
Today I got
ahead.
time.
Let's go ahead and start off with first one. I mean, this is like obvious, but have you ever gone against your plans?
Hell yeah, it happens multiple times a week. So one of the things I've noticed, like I said, like you do something that goes against your plan, write it down. If you're the type of person who's going to hold yourself accountable and you want to get better, you're going to get sick of writing that thing down. Like you've over leveraged 3 times and blow through accounts, you're going to sick of writing that down and looking at it. And that's something that you have to add into your plan to really, move forward. So yeah, it does happen, and it's going to continue to happen. It'll probably get worse before it gets better, honestly. So
All right, question two. Do you set a daily, weekly goal? If you meet that goal, are you done for the day, week?
I do not, but I should. I'm considering that heavily because there have been days and weeks or sessions where I get up, a good amount, and I'm giving it some of it back, a lot of it back, all of it back, and some. So yeah, I recommend that. I can't say that I do it. So don't be like me on that matter.
All right, so next question. Where do you see yourself in the next few years in the world of trading?
World of trading. So I don't know if my boy Architect's on here or not, but me and him, we're going at it, and we're trying to see if we can each get max funded like 1.6 mil by the end of this year. I'm a little bit ahead of him right now. I hope he hears this because it's gonna fire him up, and he'll push me, and I'll push him. But yeah, we want to get max funded. I want to do that. I want to do some philanthropist type things eventually. I want to start a course eventually in a community. Nothing huge. I really just want to get something done where I can help people out mentally with risk management and psychology and stuff. Not teaching a particular strategy, but just something you can layer on top of any strategy. So if you're trading moving averages, or if you're trading ICT, or if you're trading supply and demand, whatever it is, you can layer on top, the psychology risk management portion and make whatever you're doing work. Because I believe any strategy can work if you can execute it.
Yeah, and I just want to comment on you said the philanthropic work. Like I recently last year started a nonprofit, and I kind of came to this realization that so many people wait until they have money to start a nonprofit, to start to give back, to start to do this. Like the realization I came to was listen, you don't need money to give back. You don't need money to help people, right? Like you could start helping people today. All you got to do is be a good person and be a nice person. You don't necessarily have to spend money to fucking
Yeah, it
help
doesn't have to be
people.
money. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I
absolutely.
just want to reiterate that because I'm in a similar position. Like I started a nonprofit and I want to start to give back and to do these things. But it just occurred to me, I'm like, well, why did I wait to start the nonprofit? Like I should just be a good person and that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to comment on that. And if anyone's out there and they're like, oh, I'm gonna set a goal to like start a nonprofit, like just fucking start the nonprofit now. Like don't wait. So that's
Right.
that's my whole thing. Let's go to the
Yeah.
next question. What did you exactly do after Angelo told you not to give up?
Oh, that's an excellent question. So Angelo told me to take 2 weeks off, right, and study psychology and stuff like that. I took off 6 weeks, so it was like middle of February. I didn't come back until almost May, and I read books. And I don't read like actual books. I say I read, but I listen to books on Audible. I average like 2.5 hours a day, and I have the speed turned up on 1.2. So I'm listening to books when I drive, when I'm working. Like I'm just listening to books because you want to hide something from somebody, you put it in a book. I mean, there's so many gems out there, and a lot of the stuff that you'll hear me say, I'll drop like it came from a book. I don't know who said it. I don't know where it came from, but it resonated with me, and I'm holding on to it. But yeah, I read a lot of books. I studied a lot of psychology. I did like nothing else for my technical side of trading. Like it was pure mindset, and that really kicked off like my mindset as far as like um, like working on, let's say, like the subconscious mind is like a huge thing for me. I started reading or listening to stuff about like Stoicism, because like Stoicism, people it kind of has this negative connotation where people are like, oh, it's about adversity and stuff like that. But when you look at it from like a trading perspective, to me, it's more like metacognition, like thinking about your thinking while you're trading. Um, and all that stuff resonates. So yeah, Stoicism, the subconscious mind, the millionaire mindset type of stuff, all of those types of things. Because you got to change your mindset and you got to challenge your beliefs at some point. Because we go around with things that we've been almost indoctrinated. I hate to use that word because it seems like really serious, but like, we've been indoctrinated from birth by like things that our parents tell us, things that a teacher told us, or whatever it is. And it's like you got to come to a point where you question your beliefs and you like, why do I believe what I believe? And if I don't know why I believe it, I need to do some research and come up with my own reasoning for whatever it is I'm standing behind or whatever I'm backing. But yeah, I studied a lot of books, psychology, mindset, and just came back slow. I
That's
also withdrew my last 4K from the 5,000 I started with. I withdrew that and I traded pure demo for a little while. And then shortly after that, or it might have been while I was out, they had launched TFT and I'd been doing evaluations ever since. So I went like a year and a half trading prop challenges without making a penny, before I got to where I could make a withdrawal.
Yeah. So it was super heavy focus on the psychology and then kind of switching up the strategy and the plan. So we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna move to the next question here. Let's see. How do you deal with greed, the full margin mentality? How can I get rid of it?
That was a hard one for me, and I still deal with it sometimes. You got to realize that you can lose more in a day than you can make in a day. And when I say that, I mean that if you have a funded account or you have an evaluation or a phase two or a live account or a funded account, you can lose that account in a day. You can't get that account back in a day. It's going to take you. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me to get account fully funded, I got to be on my P's and Q's for 2 to 6 weeks. To get a new funded account and be ready to go again to the point. And then after that, it's still another 2 weeks or a month before you can get paid. So when you get to that edge point where you're like, yeah, I got to go full margin, I got to get out of this hole, or I got to run these profits up, you got to realize you can lose more in a day than you can make, period.
So somebody asked a good question. So you said you passed all these challenges in November. How are you managing kind of having all of these separate accounts? Like,
Okay, so yeah, so it wasn't 6 full challenges; it was 6 phases. I think out of that, I got 3 accounts funded, but I trade very frequently. Like I said, I trade Asia and New York mostly. Well, New York mostly and Asia, and sometimes I'll swing Asia to London. The strategy I've been doing, I pretty much whatever account has the lowest balance, I'm trading it, and then I make 2% or lose 2% on it. I go to the next account for the next session or the next extra set of trades, and I trade that one, and then I trade the next one. And so I'm like full rotation. And for one point, I had like 4 accounts I was rotating. I mean, right now it's like 5, and it's to the point where I'm about to implement a trade copier because it's too much to do mentally, and I feel like I'm missing stuff. And there's a lot going on when you have that many going. But I would buy an account, buy a phase each month, and I would use the membership one from Forex League. And I was like rotating four. I was rotating 4 accounts, so it might be 2 challenges and a competition account and a personal account. And then eventually I got funded, and I had 1 funded, and I had 3 evaluations. But I treated them all the same, and I rotate them. And next thing I know, I had 2 funded and 2 evaluations, and I had 3 funded and 3 evaluations. Now I've got like five funded. One's near max drawdown, but I still count it because it's active. It'll be 6 funded next week, and then I'm still doing evaluations. So I'm just rotating, and but that's where I was saying before, like I got tired, like I'm tired. Like I had to take the rest of the week off because I'm just exhausted from rotating. I don't recommend it to anyone. I went against pretty much every mentor. Like Nick told me not to do it. Angelo would have talked me out of it if I had been talking to him. But I knew that's what I had to do to get to where I wanted to be. So I don't recommend it to anyone.
let's let's keep it moving here. So we've got We've got a bunch of questions here. What do you prefer, two-step challenges or one-step challenges? Have you ever done a one-step challenge?
Never done a one step. I've only done two, so I can't really speak to that, unfortunately. So two's my preference.
Let's see. This is just a very general question. How do we learn and evolve more in the world of trading? My strategy is doing great, risk management. My psychology is now intact. But how do we learn and evolve more? Thank you.
You got to be curious. So when you're out here, learning stuff, like don't put your blinders up to anything. Like if you see somebody doing something, um, ask them what they're doing. Like talk to people. Like I'm in the Discord, not the Funded Trader Discord too much. I mean, I have friends from there, and like I talk to people on a daily basis, and I ask them what they're doing. Can you teach me some of what you're doing? Most people are willing to show you some stuff. I mean, a lot of people are really secretive, but you got to be curious. And if develop relationships with people and just make sure that you're giving as much as you're taking, because people get tired of leeches and whatnot.
So this is an interesting question because I know some people they probably like sit in their room and they're like, I see all these payouts on TFT and all these prop firms. People are getting paid. People on the AMA. They're saying they're successful, but I'm just not doing good. I'm failing every challenge. I'm not figuring it out. So someone asked, would you say you are intelligent or a hard worker in terms of your success in trading? So it's like basically what do you feel is most important?
Both, because you got to be intelligent about the hard work you do. So yeah, you got to work hard, but you can't work hard at something that's not going to get you moving forward. So there's certain things that you'll do, and you'll realize over time that like I'm wasting my time doing this. So like I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying don't journal. I'm not saying don't review your trades, but the way that journaling was presented to me was more of a chore than a benefit. So I modified it. So yeah, I'm working hard still, but I'm being smart about how I'm working hard. So I'm not spending as much time on that stuff. I'm getting my information from exported data versus writing down how much swap I paid on every trade. There's shortcuts that you can take, and you just got to be intelligent about the hard work you do. Like you don't want to work hard on something that's not going to, reap the fruit.
Best time frame for trading?
I am a 15-minute guy.
15-minute. What is your signal to enter?
My favorite signal to enter on is a pin bar engulfing at a session, daily or weekly high or low. And this will be like a second. So it's basically like the second leg of an MRW, maybe even the third one. I call it a peak formation, especially if there's like volume trapped outside of a weekly, daily high or low session. And I'm looking to sweep the range basically. So I'm trying to catch something from the high of the day or the week down across the range.
What do you think is your most profitable trading setup?
My most profitable trading setup is what I call, and the guy that teaches the course that I'm working on now, it's basically a first green day or first red day setup where basically I'm looking for trap volume, like I said, outside of a range. I'm looking for basically price to go up high or down low, trap traders outside, and then it comes back inside. So basically, they triggered breakouts at stop losses, and they came back, and then they go to the opposite side. On the second day, I'm looking for a retracement to 23.6 or 38.2, and I'm trying to take it to negative 61 quickly, and like a 3, 4, 5 candle move on the 15-minute chart.
What psychologically, when you're managing a trade, what is the point at which you will enter no matter what? What is the thought? Like what is the shift mentally where you just exit your trades?
You should just exit.
Yeah, like what psychologically will make you just get out of your trades?
So there'll be times where I'm satisfied with the profits. Maybe I'm sized up on this particular trade because it's one of my favorite setups, and I'm satisfied with the profits. It hits target, things start looking shaky. There's a reversal pattern, and it looks like it's going to retrace against me harder than I want it to. I've reached a checkpoint. Maybe I took it from 61 or 38 to 0, and I don't know if they're showing signs of exhaustion. It's hit a daily level, a session level. I mean, there's lots of stuff for me that I look at.
What is your risk reward? What is like your average risk reward on trades? Like, what do you target?
1 to 2. Nothing crazy, because I'm not going to sit around for 3 hours for it to go 5x most of the time.
And you trade 0.5% per trade?
Depends on my behavior. Recently, I've ramped it up, and I've been trading as much as 1% per trade, but I've had to back it down. I'm going back to 0.25% per trade next week.
Let's see. We got a few more. questions. If you lost all your funded accounts today, what would your next step be?
I would, if I lost all my funded accounts today, I'd just keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, just keep rotating and reevaluate. Like, what did I do to lose them all? Obviously, and make sure that isn't a thing. But the way I've got things set up, um, there's slim chance of losing them all at once because I try to limit my exposure.
Now, you said that you download some reports from MetaTrader. You kind of evaluate the results. What's one thing where you've downloaded a report and you've kind of looked over the results and you're just like, fuck, this is what I'm doing and this is a problem?
It was the losing streaks. When I realized how much a losing streak actually cost me, like you have a losing streak, it's like, oh man, I lost 5 trades in a row. Oh, I lost 10 trades in a row or 15 trades in a row or whatever it is. You're like, yeah, you lost the number of trades, but how much did that cost you? Did it cost you, did that 8 trades cost you 2% or did that 8 trades cost you 8%? And then when I saw that, hey, these losing trades were costing me this amount of money, it's like, okay, like how can I make losing as quick and inexpensive as possible? It's like, okay, well, I know I'm susceptible to an 8 trade losing streak. I don't want to have 8 trade losing trades trading intraday on the 15-minute chart and blow an account. So, you gotta reevaluate your sizing. And that's what really changed the game for me, was realizing I trade more frequently than most people, so I need to back my size down.
That leads into my next question. How many times a week do you trade?
How many times a week? I trade Asia and London session everywhere. Asia and New York session everywhere from Sunday to Friday usually. So I'd say probably 10 to 15 batches of trades. In the course of a session, I might have as few as 3, as many as 10 to 12. There's been days I've had 20 to 30 positions on too. But as I got the bigger accounts, I started putting on. So like if I put on 1%, it might be 4/4% positions. So it looks like more trades than it actually is.
All right, final 2 questions. If you were to describe your trading strategy in 1 or 2 sentences, what would it be?
High of the day, high of the week, high of the month, lower of the day, low of the week, low of the month.
And then final question, or not question, but what is like some closing remarks? There's a lot of people in here, they're trying to gain success with trading, right? Like what is your advice for these people?
My advice is, if you are a beginner, allow yourself time to be a beginner. There's so many people out here that are like fake gurus and they're running around like they know everything and they're not receptive to feedback and constructive criticism. If you're a beginner, give yourself a chance to be a beginner, learn from everybody you can, and just connect with people, like-minded people.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you guys. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not a simple task at hand to pass the challenges. Look at martial arts, it's a very good correlation. It takes a while to go from a white belt to a blue belt, to whatever's above that. So keep going. And like you said, own the position you're in. If you're in the beginning, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. It's not going to be easy. Will it be worth it? Yeah. At some point, will you master certain setups? Will you master your emotions? Will you learn about how you can be better? 100%. So that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, Darren, where can these people find you? A bunch of people want to know if you yourself are a guru, you trade people, whatever. Where can people find you?
I'm not a guru. I talk to anybody that messages me. I mean, I haven't had anybody message me like anything disrespectful. I've had people ask me for signals and stuff. Like, don't ask me for signals. I will block you because I don't do signals. But if you got questions, hit me up on Discord, Credit Trades. You hit me up on Twitter, Credit Trades. I have Instagram, same name everywhere. I'm not active on Instagram. If you want to get to me, the best place is probably Discord. DM me. I'm an affiliate too, so if you like anything that I said and you don't have somebody that you're buying challenges through, click my link tree and please support a brother.
Dude, no, it's been a pleasure. Darren's gonna come down to Miami too later this month. I gotta book his flight for him. But he's gonna come down later this month. We're gonna do an in-person interview as well. Listen, it was great to finally have you on. And yeah, I mean, obviously your success is really cool to see. I mean, obviously I'm super proud of like everything that you have going on. And I just, can't thank you enough for all the support and everything like that. And like, we just gotta fucking keep it going, man. That's it.
That's right, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to get on here and talk to people and stuff, man. I mean, I just want to help people out, really. Because there's a lot of stuff that we figure out, and it's not in courses, it's not in videos. I know everybody in this AMA right now has some piece of information that they figured out on their own, digging through the mud that nobody else knows. And I mean, we all got something to offer. So just help each other out, man. Help people get further than where they are a little bit quicker than what they did. Because like Nick and Angelo, I mean, like Nick told me it was like 4 years for him to get profitable. I think it was probably like what 2, 3, 4 years for you, Angelo. If somebody got there in 4 and I can get there in 2, like maybe I can help somebody get there in 1. So let's just accelerate. I'm all about unusual acceleration. So let's see what we can do to help each other out. It's a community, spread the love.
Yeah, that's it. That's why listen, man. That's why we're here. Everyone's here to get better. Like as a company, we're trying to get better. All you guys as traders, we're trying to get better. So let's just fucking keep it going, and that's it. So everyone that joined, like, really appreciate you guys. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate you hopping on too, and we'll catch you guys in the next AMA.
Yeah, man. Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity. Let's run it up to 23, everybody.
Let's fucking get it. All right, peace out, everybody.